Hi there. I'm gonna take you on a walk through my journal because I think it's really kind of exploratory in a way, and also it just shows you exactly who I am. This thing is just my entirety of my head, and the back of it says my journal, my brain, my confusion for sure, and I think that's just very telling of me. So, anyways, we're gonna start in the beginning. I always journaled since I was young, but this journal I had started once I moved to New York. I started this how many months after I moved to New York? Like 3 months after? August, September, like 4 months actually. And the first page, this was kind of after I got broken up with, and I was lost because I just moved all the way across the country with no help, no friends, no nothing. And I was really confused on what I liked to do, what I didn't like to do, what I enjoyed, all the above. So my first journal entry was about 5 pages back to back, and one of which I had a bullet point list of the things that I liked. So I'm going to read to you that. It says, I like writing and analyzing text and being philosophical, flowers, specifically tulips and hydrangeas, candlelit and dim lit lighting, dark hair against my skin, simple meals, simple and natural makeup, movies that invoke thought, dance movements that are more than just body movement, choreographing, directing, music with an interesting beat that has a musical story, photos, Polaroids, digital cameras, feeling supported and taken care of. Vanilla, kids, and nannying. I love my job. It makes me feel purposeful. Cleaning and cleansing my space. Those are a lot of the things that I still love so much. Those are probably like some principles that I hold near and dear to my heart. Can't lie to you. And after that, I was just journaling every day, and it was kind of tough because then after that, I kind of had a little crush, and that was tough because I was like, is this really genuine, or am I just looking for something to kind of, what's the word I'm looking for? Play with my mind. Am I looking for something to kind of just, I'm looking for a specific word to take my mind off of everything. There's a word and I'll find it, but it's not right now, and that's gonna just have to work. So anyway, then on November 9th, I decided to get high, and I had a fucking ottoman full of vapes, and I decided to write why every single vape was the way that it was and what the story behind it was. So my example of this is that the Strawberry Geeks, aka my Vaporella vape, the strawberry straws one, the sour straws, is a risky vape. I can't lie to you. It's definitely a throat closer, and it is the H. pylori vape, because that's when me and my roommates all thought we had H. pylori, because one of our other roommates is a health freak and he convinced all of us that we had H. pylori. We didn't in fact have H. pylori. It's really hard to get H. pylori. Therefore, why the fuck would we even have it? It's also just, it's a dangerous vape, the sour straws. And that's the vape that is normally used when things hit the fan, you know? It's too drunk, it's too fucked up. It needs to go to bed, you know? It needs to order food and sit in its bed. And I think that's honestly the most aggressive vape that we have. Other than that, the other ones are pretty good, can't lie to you. The Orange Geek, though, is definitely a bad idea, and it is the Depression Geek, so not that one. But the next Spearmint is the Star Sister. She's a bitch, she's a middle child, but she's a tried and true. So anyways, that truly got me and my roommate through some shit, just sitting there and analyzing a bunch of inanimate objects. It's really fun, and I think you should probably try it too. Next, I took a 10-day hiatus, and I decided to come back on November 15th, and I kind of just said that I haven't really journaled in a long time. I redyed my hair, I got my eyebrow pierced, and as you can see, I took the piercing out of my eyebrow, this is when I really had no clue what was going on in my life. I didn't know who I was. I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't know what I liked. And I kind of just realized through this, oh my gosh, I kind of just realized through this that I have 6 different identity boxes. A lot of people don't do this much reflection and introspection to know how many identity boxes they have, but I have 6 of them. And the 6, they're all very different points in my life, but they're all things that create me, which is why I don't feel like I can truly identify with something specific. So my first box is my emo box. It's my eyebrow piercing box, my eyeliner, my rock music, my dom femme, okay? There's also the live shows that go into this box, because a lot of live shows I go to are normally rock shows. And then my next box is my silver jewelry, lip stains, the downtown nostalgia, natural, abroad, Adrian Lenker, and my jazz clubs. That's my other box, okay? There's a fuzz in here. My next box is my hippie crystals, tarot, Erykah Badu, weed, dim light, and then this is my energy box, basically. The next box is my straight Haley box, okay? This box is kind of really tough because this box only super comes out whenever there's a guy involved in my life. This box is the gym opium baddie box. Now, normally this box really shines when I get my nails done and when I have lashes and when I have re-downloaded Snapchat. When all of that is gone, I'm not in that box. Obviously, you can tell right now I'm not in this box right now, because no. My next box is my introverted box. Clairo, Ethel Kane, comfy, journaling, not speaking, very introverted. Now, this is the exact box that I'm in today in this point in my life. And I think it's so funny because normally when you write all these things down, you're kind of just speaking from what you feel right there. And you don't really think that you're gonna relate to any of these things, but truly the fact that I relate to one of these boxes right now really shows how I honestly nailed it right on the fucking head with all of my identities. And then the last one is my gay identity. Now, this is my Hinge and Tinder identity. This one's bad. I can't lie to you. This is my wacky outfits. This is my dark feminine, masculine energy. This is my thirst trap. # woman love woman. This is whenever I post something on TikTok. That's # woman love woman. Anyways, these are my identity boxes, as you can see. Now, on the next page, I kind of started to keep writing, but then 9 by Dean Blunt came on, and I was just very confused by that. So anyway, I was writing down coffee shops that I wanted to go to in Tribeca. Didn't go to any of them. This is my friend's side of the dorm room. Actually, she's just my roommate. She doesn't really ever talk to me, which is kind of sucky, but it's fine. And then I took another hiatus, and I wrote 5 pages on the 1st of December. This was really just a lot. This was a lot because I was just honestly going through it. I didn't really know what to do. I didn't know how to do it. The next day I didn't journal, but then I journaled on the 3rd, and that was another 6 pages. That was tough. But I will say my 6 pages on the 3rd of December, this was very much, what do I love? What do I want to be? I think there was a full moon on this day. Yeah, there was. There was a full moon on this day. So hence why I did also a lot of manifestation. I will read to you a little bit of what I wrote. I won't read to you all of it just because it's pages upon pages just that look like this, and you don't need to hear all of that. This says, I love mature conversations that have substance. I love wellness and believing that what you feed your body comes out of it. I love to be alone in my thoughts. Sometimes I want to be, but other times it's just easier. I understand I'm such an overthinker, and being with someone can sometimes give me anxiety. Unnecessarily give me anxiety. I love instruments and instrumentals. I love compliments and things not being left unsaid. I love mirrors and how energy can affect lighting and candles and technology around it. I imagine myself with someone that matches me and who is willing to make an effort to get to know me. I don't want to date until I find someone who shows me that they care. And then I did a whole, like, whatever. There's just more and more. It's what I love, what I don't love, all that stuff. And then I did a 2026 ins and outs. So here we go. Ins: self-care, vitamins, saying no when something feels off, doing things on your terms, sharing yourself vulnerably to those who show you they care, letting go of things that don't serve me without being guilty. My outs are not listening to yourself, dwelling on the past, changing my personality depending on who I'm with, faking feelings, and thinking in absolutes. Now, thinking in absolutes is starred at the bottom because I do that a lot, and I don't think a lot of people realize that they do that. But for example, my example of this is whenever I decide that I want to go to the gym, I go to the gym 5 days a week every morning. I change my entire diet, and there's no middle ground. It's either I'm going, I'm dieting, I'm weight checking, I'm weightlifting 5 days a week, or I'm laying in my bed and I'm being lazy fuck and I'm depressed. There's no in between. So through thinking in absolutes, I kind of realized that you can have everything you want, but it doesn't have to be that serious. Even within relationships, you can have everything that you want with somebody. For example, you could be going on dates with somebody and you don't have to make it serious with that person, but you could still be spending time with them, because at the end of the day, you really have to think about, what do you want from that? You know, you could be going out with them. You could be saying, I don't want this. I'm the queen of being like, I don't want anything. I either want all of it or none of it. I don't want to be with you at all. I don't really want to talk to you. Or I want to know that we're in a committed relationship. That's where we go wrong here, because you could still hang out with them. You could still have so much love for them and not be dating, as long as you know that it's mutual. I think there's such a good middle ground between everything, but it's really hard to navigate, and it's really hard to find what middle ground works for you. So that's kind of my ideas. Now, this page from the 6th of December is when one of my best friends, he came home from a concert, and he basically sat in my room because my other roommate had his boyfriend over, and we talked for like 2 hours about just everything, and we came to so many conclusions, and one of which was thinking in absolutes, and another one that I had come up with that I feel like not a lot of people know or think about is soul rules. Now, I came up with this idea about a month and a half ago now, and this idea kind of goes around the fact that I hold such high standards for myself that I feel as though I can't do many things because I just judge my own self for it. Now, one example of this is when you are on the side of the road and you see a crackhead and all they're asking for is crack. They're not sitting there and thinking about the consequences of crack, because they just know that it makes them feel good and they do it in the moment. Now, if I were to ever try crack or attempt to try crack, I would be like, no, like, that is going to make me look bad. It's not going to get me anywhere, like, it's going to make me feel like shit the next morning. All these little rules that I have for myself. Don't do it because of this. Don't do it because of this, because of these reasons. Now, you might just be like, no, that's a normal person's reaction, and that's just exactly how everybody else feels besides a crack addict. But I'm telling you right now that, like, these rules, they kind of make up each person individually. I tell myself that I can't smoke weed every single night because then I'll turn into a stoner. Now, what the fuck is that? What does that even mean? Truly, what does that even mean? And then it also kind of got me thinking, because I saw this interview of Julia Fox, and she was on the sides in the streets, and she was in and out of Vegas. She was sold for her body. She was doing drugs upon drugs. And in this interview, she's 40 years old now, something around that age, and she looks better than ever, and she's talking like she's better than ever, and she's explaining her life in detail to people and saying, I was like this when I was younger, but I changed and now I'm like this now. And it really made me think, because we have so much life ahead of us. I can do whatever the fuck I want now and not be the same person in 20 years. And these soul rules that I have made up for myself, the rules that I'm telling myself need to be done for me now. Now, I don't hold anybody else to any of these rules, but these are just my rules for myself. I could be doing anything with my life and I could end up the most successful person in about 40 years. And nobody would ever know that I was doing any of this. So that was one of the biggest things that I came up with. A lot of my other stuff is just doodles. Just like to doodle a lot. I don't know what that is, but I just doodled. This is when my ex-best friend was making me really mad. And then I ended things with her the next day. That sounds like a relationship. I promise you, it wasn't. But it was held to the extent that it was. That's why I ended it. The next time I wrote a lot, I don't know how much I wrote. Yeah, that much, was when I was on the plane coming back home. This was actually very crazy because I was honestly doing so much reflection. I talked about one of my best friends in this one because I just love her so much. And honestly, I read about her a lot. She would never know though. And that's not really anything I necessarily want her to know, but yeah, I read about her a lot, and that's kind of, I just wrote about her in that one. And then I also just wrote about what states I was flying over and all of that stuff, being excited. And then a lot of this stuff, this new stuff. Also, can we just take a minute? I was high, and this is all backwards for all of you, but this handwriting, the best handwriting I've ever came across. Wow, it's really amazing. Now, this is probably one of the last things that I wrote in this journal as of right now, and this was all the credits that I need for my bachelor's degree, because I want to take some of my classes over the summer. So I've been trying to plan all of that out, and I think that's honestly why I'm a little bit stressed out. I feel as though I have nothing really going for me right now, so I'm trying to plan for my future, and planning for your future is always stressed out, even if you have things all figured out. So anyways, that is about it. I wrote in it today, and it was a poem that I have really, really admired for a long time. I want to make that into a separate video, but as of right now, this is my journal, and I hope that you enjoyed looking through my journal with me. I want to make more videos, and I will whenever I have the time, but right now this has just been a very good way to express myself, and I really appreciate it, so